Hi, and welcome to Photography Masterclass Magazine. I'm Larry Lursey, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about getting the infrared look in Photoshop. In this issue we've talked about getting your camera converted and using filters to get an actual infrared look. But if you want to just try and duplicate the look in Photoshop, I'm going to show you kind of how to get close, and we're going to try and create this image right here. So first thing we need to do is start with the raw file, so I'm going to jump into Camera Raw. Okay, so I am in Camera Raw now, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this scene and give it the infrared look. Now, the key characteristics of the infrared look is the foliage, the grass, and bushes and things will kind of go to a gray or white depending on how much light is on them. The clouds usually get really white and the sky goes darker. So that's kind of knowing that's the direction we're going to go. So first thing you want to do here is if you need to make any sort of a basic exposure correction, go ahead and do that before we start. Maybe bring this down a little bit. I like to pump up the contrast just a little bit because they're usually very contrasty images. Okay, so that's pretty close to start out. Then we're going to go right up here to HSL Grayscale. First thing I want you to do is click Convert to Grayscale. So now it's only showing us black and white, but all the information is still in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those blues and lower them all the way down. It's going to kind of darken our sky. Now I like to do the aqua as well, maybe not all the way, but you got to kind of do what looks good because there's a lot of aqua in the sky and in the water. So I'm going to go almost all the way with that. Alright. So now what we got to do is work on our greens here. So I'm going to take the greens, I'm going to do the opposite. Greens, we're going to go all the way to the right. You can see it's going to start lightening those up. However, they're not fully there yet because it's not solid green. There's a lot of yellow in here as well. So generally you've got to grab the yellow and slide it across as well. Now you don't want to probably go all the way. That's not too bad, but I'm going to come back a touch just so it gives you a little bit there. I'm at about 87. And it's going to depend on the image, but right there we're getting pretty close to an infrared look. Let's go ahead and open that up. Okay, now that we've got the image here in Photoshop, I want to go and enhance it even more, make a few changes that will even help this thing to have more of an infrared look. First thing I'm going to do is, now that I've got this all converted, I'm going to go into Image Adjust Levels and look at my histogram, and a lot of times it's lacking here on the left side. We've blown out these whites in most cases, but the black can stand to use a little more. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to hold down the Option or Alt key and drag across until I start seeing things block up. That's probably about as far as I can go. And we can try the same from the other side. Hold down the Option, Mac, Alt PC, drag that across. Start losing the sky up there, so I don't want to do too much of that. I'm going to bring that back just a hair. Okay, so it's a little more contrasty now. It's a little darker than what I would like, and it also doesn't have that grainy look that you get from infrared. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this down and copy the layer. Then I'm going to take this top layer, go Image Adjust Levels. Now I'm going to lighten it. I'm going to go ahead, I'm not so worried about the sky. I'm just kind of looking at these grassy areas. I'm going to bring the white and the mids over until it kind of gives it that. You want to go till you've gone just a little bit too far. You don't want to destroy it, but enough that it's a little more than you should have gone. Probably about like that. Hit OK. Next thing I want to do is bring in some noise. So I'm going to go to Filter Noise, because infrared always has really bad noise, or good noise, I guess. Depends on how you look at it. I've got mine set to uniform. I'm going to bring it in again till it's a little more than I think I need. Hit OK. And I'm going to sharpen this a little bit. I'm going to go to Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. And let's just bring it up to about 200% with a 1 pixel radius. Give it a really gritty, grainy look. Okay, so there we go. Obviously that looks terrible, not what we want at all. But I'm going to go over here and I'm going to change the blending mode to lighten. Now all I have to do is grab the opacity and start pulling this down until I get to the point that I like the amount of grit and lightness. I think somewhere probably around in there. And so we'll see, here's what we have before, here's what we have after. And you know, you can just kind of dial that down to your preference till you think that's about what you want. But it's got a nice gritty look to it. The foliage has gone light colored, sky's gone dark. You got a pretty good infrared looking image. I would probably crop out the edges of this window here and some things like that, but I think you're pretty close. So that's basically how you do it. From there, it's just a matter of if you wanted to tweak it any further, you could always go down here and open up a levels adjustment layer if you think you need to do any more tweaking in the blacks, maybe a little bit, maybe punch the whites a little bit. Kind of depends on your preference, but I think that's pretty good right there. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So anyways, you got your shooting in RAW and just converting it this way and simulating that infrared look. So again, it's no substitute for doing the infrared in the camera, but it gets you pretty close. So I hope that helps. Give it a try and let me know what you think.